Vladimir Putin proposed changes to Russia's constitution today in a move critics say will let him stay in power beyond his current term as president. And to help make it happen, the entire government has resigned. The CBC's Chris Brown is in Moscow. He joins me now. So, Chris, what exactly are these changes Putin is implementing?
I guess, Andrew, you could think of it as a bit of a redistribution of power. The office of the president, and really Vladimir Putin himself, really is an institution by himself here in Russia. President has the power to appoint prime ministers, to appoint cabinet ministers, and really be involved in every aspect of everything that goes on politically in this country. What he's suggesting today is some of those powers would be devolved to the parliament or Duma. So it would be the Duma that could pick a prime minister, or the Duma that would have to approve all of the cabinet ministers. And why this is significant is because really the biggest guessing game, the only political question here is what is Putin himself going to do in 2024 when this presidential term expires? Now, he's limited to 2 terms, and today he said he's not in favor of changing that rule. So, but what he is in favor of doing is weakening the presidential position and moving powers to other places. So you're getting an idea here that yes, he would step down, but perhaps he wouldn't go very far, maybe to the Prime Minister's office, maybe to something called the State Council. He also talked about beefing up the powers there. Probably Vladimir Putin is really the only person who really knows what the plan is, but this is the beginning of a new process, a new phase in Russian politics, one that could probably lead to Vladimir Putin entrenching himself as the most important political person in this country, really for the rest of his life.
And so, Chris, is Putin likely to face any significant resistance or criticism?
Well, it's interesting today, that everyone thought was sort of the big news. And then a couple of hours later, the entire Russian cabinet and the prime minister resigned. Dmitry Medvedev, of course, is a former president himself, the number 2 man in Russian politics, extremely well known. But he's worn a lot of the failures, a lot of the public discontent with lower than wanted living conditions and so forth here. But why now? Why did he choose today to resign? He said it was because he needed to give the president room to maneuver with these new changes, but a lot of people really aren't buying that. Perhaps he thought he might have a chance at coming back into the presidency, and today Putin sort of closed the door on that with this with this potential change. So no one really knows, and it's really interesting because there have been specials on state TV about his speech all day, but almost no mention of Dmitry Medvedev and this surprise resignation. It's almost like they're talking around it, Andrew.
Chris, thank you. The CBC's Chris Brown live in Moscow.